All right. Let's actually get a window up for stuff. Window capture. I got animate. That's fine. Let's do just animate for now. And then display my other window capture. We've got the launcher. Wrong one. Alright. We're jumping in. Give me one moment. I know how to work my screens. Do 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 do. We are on just chatting today because we're going to try and learn some Ren'Py basics. Hey Wolf, how's it going? It's okay if this isn't interesting, hopefully, but we're going to be watching some YouTube videos. We're going to be looking at the Ren'Py tutorial itself and seeing what this program can do, because I'm gonna make a visual novel and we gotta learn how to use the tools if we're gonna make a visual novel. First, can we please fit this into screen? Thank you. Let's increase this a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. Alright. Tutorial. Launch project. Does that show in the window? No, it does not. That's okay. Window capture. Tutorial. Here we go. Here is the tutorial. I'd like to welcome you to the Ren'Py tutorial. This music is awful. What is this music? Absolutely not. Let's put on some like other music instead of that hideousness. I've got some music that we can put on. I've been really into Godspeed music. Where is it? Nope, I want to search watch history. There we go. Let's do this one. Ooh, let's not do that one. I want something more chill. Something more chill. Let's do Cyberpunk then. Hey, Carbon. No, you're not too late. We're not we are not doing anything particularly crazy today. Hopefully the music is not too loud. I've got that turned down a fair amount. Okay. I'd like to welcome you to the Ren'Py tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll teach you the basics of Ren'Py. So you make games of your own. We'll also demonstrate many features so you can see what Ren'Py is capable of. What would you like to see? Player experience. Start at the top. Someone who's played more than a few visual novels, there are many features that I expect all games to have. Features like saving, loading, changing preferences, and so on. One of the nice things about Ren'Py is that the engine provides many of these features for you. You can spend your time creating your game and let us provide these things. While you're in the game, you can access the game menu by right-clicking or hitting the escape key. Oh, right-clicking, eh? Okay, that's cool. You can also access the game menu through some of the quick menu at the bottom of the screen. Makes sense. When you first enter the game menu, you'll see the save screen. Click on number slot will save the game. Unlike other engines, Ren'Py doesn't limit the number of save slots. Clicking on the title of the page allows you to start typing to change the page name. Okay, we all know how to save a game. Oh, that's cool. We get autosaves. Menu also has preferences screen. Yeah. Control speed, sound, music, voice volumes. Game menu also lets you end the game and return to main menu. Default menus look generic. With a little work, they can be customized or even entirely replaced. That's what we want to do. Allowing you to create menus as unique as your game. We won't do that just yet, but we do want to do that eventually. There's a few things you can do. Liking a visual novel, I want to see about endings. Skip function lets me easily do this by skipping text that I've already seen. I can skip a few lines by holding down control. You only skip red text. This won't do anything the first time through the game. Clicking the auto button toggles auto forward. Q save and load. Quick save, I suppose. Pressing S key saves a screenshot. So this is all like functional how this works. Yeah, let's hear about rollback. Clicking the back button, scrolling the mouse wheel up, or by pushing the page up key. Ah, cool. While at a previous screen, you can roll forward by scrolling the mouse wheel down or pushing the page down key. Rolling forward with your menu will make the same choice you did last time, but you don't have to do that. Try rolling back, saying no. Click back a few times, press page up, or scroll the mouse wheel. Well, are you going to try it? Your loss. Moving on. By allowing Ren'Py to take care of out-of-game issues like loading and saving, you can focus on making your game while still giving players the experience they've come to expect. Okay. Pretty basic little overview of how that works. Alright. Next up, creating a new game. When you're ready to use Ren'Py to create your visual novel, the first step is create a new project. You can create a new project by create new project. Okay? I'd ask you for the place you want to keep your projects. And we'll ask for a name. Next thing we'll ask for is the resolution. How large or small you have to make your game's artwork. Okay. Finally, we'll ask you to select a color scheme. Work for a bit and return you to main menu with a new project selected. Now when you click launch, Ren'Py will start your new game. We'll probably just do some test games. To get back here, you can choose tutorial to switch. You also need to edit the game script to make changes. To do that, clip script RPY. If you're first time, we'll ask you to select a text editor. After the text editor is downloaded, which we already have, I believe, the script will open up and you can start to change what the character's seeing. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Let's quit and will make a new folder, or a new project, shall we say. Okay, new project. Continue. Test project 1. That's fine. That's fine. Let that think a minute. Okay. Ooh. My water has no flavor. I forgot to put a flavor pack in it. That's fine. I'll survive. Alright, test project. What do we even have in here? Does it do anything? Kind of. Let's see. We want to, yeah, have that show up. You've created a new Ren'Py game. Once you add the story, pictures, music, and release it to the world. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go back into the tutorial. I might just do a display capture because this going back and forth is not fun. Okay, can we... There we go. Alright, writing dialogue. Most common thing a creator does with Ren'Py is to create dialogue for the player to read. Before I can show you how to write dialogue, let me show you how we present script examples. Examples will show up in a window like the one above. You'll need to click outside of the example window in order to advance the tutorial. When an example is bigger than the screen, you can scroll around it using the mouse wheel or by dragging the mouse. Okay. Script might seem scary at first, but if you look, you'll see it's easy to match it up to what I'm saying. Seems pretty simple. Let's see the simplest possible Ren'Py game. Wow, it's really dark in here. Lucy, better watch out, you don't want to be eaten by a Gru. Labels start. Wow, it's really dark in here. Lucy says, better watch out. Okay. Script demonstrates two kinds of Ren'Py statements, labels and say statements. The first line is a label statement. Label start, okay. Label statement is used to give a name to a place in the program. In this case, we're naming the place start. The start label is special as it marks the place that game begins running. The next line is a simple say statement. It consists of a string beginning with a double quote and ending at the next double quote. Double quote. Is that the quotation marks? Special characters in strings can be escaped with a backslash. To include quotation marks in a string, we have to write backslash. When Ren'Py sees a single string on a line by itself, it uses the narrator to say that string. So a single string can be used to express a character's thoughts. Hey Eden, how's it going? So Lucy says, yeah, better watch out. When we have two strings separated by a space, the first is used as the character's name, and the second is what the character is saying. So Lucy, and then the phrase. This two-argument form of the say statement is used for dialogue where a character is speaking out loud. If you'd like, you can run this game yourself by erasing everything in your project script file and replacing it with the code in the box above. Okay. Be sure to preserve the spacing before lines. Alright, I would like to copy that. Alright, cool. Let me put that down. Using a string for a character's name is inconvenient for 2 reasons. Sorry, Miss Beginning. Oh, no, no, no. You didn't miss anything. The first part of the tutorial was just showing how the, this program worked in general, like these buttons down here. Using a string for name character's names. First is that it's a bit verbose. While typing Lucy isn't so bad, imagine if you had to type Eileen Richardson thousands of times. Second is that it doesn't leave any place to put styling, which can change the look of a character. To solve these problems, Ren'Py lets you define characters. Okay, so far so good. Makes sense. Here's an example character definition. Begins with the word define. That tells Ren'Py that we're defining something. Music isn't too loud, right? I put on my own music because they gave us some kind of clown music for this thing. So here's an example. So we're defining something. Let me copy that down. There is no music? Oh, is it maybe too low? Perchance it's too low. No, I've got my own music that's playing. But it might be too low, perhaps. I boosted it up a little bit. Let me know if you can hear it. This example character begins with the word define. Okay. Define is followed by a short name for the character, like I. We'll be able to use that short name when writing dialogue. So define I equals character Lucy. And the name for Lucy, or the color for that name, would be this color, I'm assuming. This is followed by an equal sign and the thing we're defining. In this case, it's a character. On the first line, the character's name is given to be Lucy, and her name will be drawn in a reddish color. These short names are case sensitive. Capital L is a different name from lowercase l, so you need to be careful about that. Now that we have character defined, we can use it to say dialogue. Lucy, why are you trying to put words in my mouth, and who are you calling it? What's more, what are you going to do about the glue problem? You just going to leave me here? Here's the full game, including the 2 new lines of dialogue, both of which the character we defined to say dialogue. Okay, I will copy that. The 1-argument form of the say statement is unchanged, but in the 2-argument form, instead of the first string, we can use a short name. So the 1-argument form, I guess, is this. But then in the 2-argument form, that's using the short name because we defined the lowercase l as the character Lucy. When this say statement is run, Ren'Py will look up the short name, which is really a Python variable. We'll then use the associated character to show the dialogue. Okay, that makes sense. Character object controls who is speaking, the color of their name, and many other properties of the dialogue. Since the bulk of a visual novel is dialogue, we try to make it as easy to write as possible. Hopefully by allowing the use of short names for characters, we've succeeded. Okay, that all makes sense. Adding images. Visual novel isn't much without images, so let's add some images. Before we can show images, we must first choose image names, then place the image files into the image directory. An image name is something like BG Cave or Lucy Happy, with 1 or more parts separated by spaces. I think generally we want to use underscores, but we can see. Each part should start with a lowercase letter and then contain lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores. Yeah, underscores. Lowercase letter, then contain lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores. Okay. First part of an image is called the tag. For BG Cave, the tag is BG, while for Lucy Happy, the tag is Lucy. You can open the image directly by clicking the appropriate button in the Ren'Py launcher. Files in the images directory should have the same name as the image, followed by extension. files in image directory should have the same name as the image. Okay. Our examples use bgcave.jpg, lucyhappy.png, and lucymad.png. Let's see what those look like in the game. Now the lights are on, we don't have to worry about grooves anymore. But what's the deal with me being in a cave? Eileen gets to be out in the sun and I'm stuck here. Here's the script for that scene. Notice how it includes two new statements, the scene and show statement. So scene is the background, which is the cave picture, so background cave. And then we show Lucy happy. And then L is talking. Now that the lights are on, we don't have to worry about grooves. And then we show Lucy mad at right, which I suppose moves her to the right. Scene statement clears the screen, adds a background image. The show statement adds a new image on top of all the other images on the screen. If there's already an image with the same tag, the new image is used to replace the old one. There's already an image with the same tag. Changes to the list of shown images take place instantly, so in the example, the user won't see the background by itself. The second show statement has an @ clause, which gives a location on the screen. Common are left, right, and center, but you can define many more. In this example, we show an image named logo base, and we show it at a creator-defined position, rightish. Okay. We could also specify that it should be shown behind another image, in this case, Eileen. That's me. Okay, so we have behind statements then. Finally, there's the hide statement, which hides the image with the given tag. Since the show statement replaces an image, and the scene statement clears the scene, it is rare to hide an image. Since the show statement replaces an image, the scene statement clears the scene. Okay. The main use is for when a character or prop leaves before the scene is over. Okay, kind of want to try that, but let's look at positioning images first. Alright. I cannot find... I just want music without words in it. That's fine. Okay, let's do this one. See if this is any better. Okay. When the standard positions that come with Ren'Py aren't enough for you, you can create your own. First way to do it is to show an image followed by a colon. Then indented on the next couple of lines are the X-align and Y-align transform properties. Sorry, I am getting my screens. Each of the transform properties is a name followed by a value. For X-align and Y-align, the values are numbers. So X-align at 0.75 and Y-align at 1.0. X-align transform property is the important one as it controls where the image is placed horizontally. So let me take that note. X-align is horizontal. which I then assume y-align is vertical. X-align of 0.0 is on the left side. Zero point zero is left, or far left. Point 0.5 is the center. 0.5 is center. And 1.0 is right. The decimal place is important, has to be there, just 1 by itself won't work the same. Okay. 1.0 is far right. Of course, you can pick any position in between. Y-align is the same way, with 0, 0 being the top of the screen and 1.0 being the bottom. Since most sprites stick to the bottom, it's almost always 1.0. Okay, I can remember that. While being able to write positions like this is useful, having to repeatedly do so isn't. So Ren'Py lets you define a transform once and reuse it. Usually transforms are defined at the top of a file right after the characters, but it doesn't matter to Ren'Py where you define them. So you transform slight left. The transform is given a name, slight left, and then the x-align and y-align properties. Oh, I see. So rather than like retyping your alignments over and over, you name this little section of code. So you show Eileen very happy at slight left. Once a transform has been defined, you can use it in the at clause of the show statement. So show at. Okay. Transforms are sticky. If you replace an image without using a transform, Ren'Py will keep the same transforms it had been using. Of course, there's a lot more transforms in this. If you want to learn more, you can read sections on position properties, transforms, and animations in transform properties. But for many visual novels, x-align and y-align are the only properties that matter. Okay, let's mess with that. That's enough for now. Yes. Let's open up the test one. Script. Okay, I know that these are remarks. The script of the game goes in this file. Declare characters used by this game. The color argument colorizes the name of the character. So far we've got a define E of character Eileen. Oh, this is like rollover stuff, so that's cool. Hey, Flustered. You can definitely do this because you made a dog shit visual novel with no effort. Oh, well, I'm making a little bit of effort, but I don't know any coding, so we're very, very beginner. I'm about to try to show stuff, so label start, show a background. This uses a placeholder by default, but you can add a file to the image directory to show it. Image directory, I think. Yeah, here we go. So images then. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find a good background that we can use. Give me one moment. What visual novel did you make, Flustered? Here we go. I've got an Animal Crossing picture that I can use. I will name it BG underscore Animal Crossing. Made the fucking strange creatures dating sim. Oh, okay. Sounds delightful. Okay, so we've got a background. And now we just need a character. Cancel. We can use maybe one of these. These are animated though. Let me look. I've got spicy stuff, so I don't want to like show that. Pretty sure there when Josh played it was probably 70. Oh gosh, yeah, I don't remember it. I don't remember it much. Apologies. Let's see. Oh my god, time is crazy, my dude. Like, it's... I have moments where I'm like, how old am I? Yeah, I just don't know how much I can show in terms of, like, spicy things on, on stream. It's art, but I gotta be careful. Let's use a character that I got commissioned. That'll work. Give me one moment. Pictures. Here we go. Copy and paste. Can't remember if you're on Earth 1 or 2 at the moment. Oh, yeah. This is a character that I got commissioned for something, so we'll use that briefly. So that's the name. I'm not saying you should open your... Yeah. I don't want to get banned too hard. Like, I know we can show, like, video game stuff, but I don't know how far you can show in terms of, like, actual art that you can show. So I'm like, we'll just keep it relatively safe. So the character names... I don't know if the apostrophe is used, so we'll take that out. And then we'll name it Kavla Neutral, I guess. Yeah, I know video games are done, but yeah, I don't want to risk the art. Okay, so we have... Where is my script? Here we go. So... define E character, and then we put in... Kava. That's the name of the character. What did we use for color? Yeah. Define character color. I think I can get that with color. Goodbye. Let's use like this light blue. That's kind of pretty. And then we'll do that. I know what I'm doing, definitely. Comma, we've closed it. Okay, we've defined our character. Now, scene, show a background. This uses a placeholder by default, but you can add a file. And we're going to show background Animal Crossing dot, oh, we have to like name it. It is a JPEG. JPEG. Okay. This shows a character sprite. Placeholder is used. Okay. Show. Ooh, I think it has to be lowercase, doesn't it? If the drawing looks fucked up, try making the color. That might be tent variable. I think this is like the name that shows up on the top of the text, I believe, but I'll see what it does for sure. Show Calva neutral. Oop. These display lines are dialogue. Okay, and then what do I do? Save. That you're drawing, check here. Oh, no. Just, I'm just using some pictures that I already have. So can I keep the script open and then test it that way? Oh, it didn't work. File, Ren'Py line 17, end of line. It didn't like the background. Okay, that's alright. Let's see what we did wrong. So it needs to be named either background room to show it. But then how do you know what it is? Background room. Background room. Save that. And then let's try it again. Still didn't like that. I wonder why. You can add a file named either background room. Does it have to be with the space? Doesn't like the period. Oh, quotation marks. I see. Thank you. Let's try it. And then I guess we'll have to put quotations around this as well. Let's try that. Still didn't like it. I'm already failing. Okay, let me read this. The note is trying to tell you that there's a default image that is used if none is specified, but you can add a path file to either JPEG or PNG to use your own. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I've got the JPEG, this thing, in the file, and then I've got Calva in there also. But I'm not sure. I've got the show. Let me look at the code again. So this doesn't have the quotations around the show here. Define. label start. Show a background. This uses a placeholder by default. I'm in the images directory. Make sure you throw a semicolon after the name of the file. It doesn't show that though. Would it have to be after the quotations? Or would it need to be inside the quotations? Python loves semicolons. It didn't show that in the example, I thought. No, it still didn't like that. Okay, well, let me open up the tutorial again here real quick. Thought I'd be able to do this bit. Adding images. Image name is something like BG Cave or Lucy Happy. Maybe it's more semicolon agnostic than I gave it credit for. Each part should start with a lowercase letter and then contain, yeah. First part of an image is called the tag. For BG Cave, the tag is BG. While for Lucy Happy, the tag is Lucy. You can open the image directory by clicking the appropriate button in the Ren'Py launcher. I'm on test project 1. Yeah, I'm in the right directory. Files should have the same name as the image, followed by an extension. Do I need to name it that? Like, do I need to name this .jpeg? Maybe that's what I'm missing. This is a PNG. .png. That's the only thing I can think of. Our example is uses bgcave.jpg. Okay, let's try that. This is why we're here. We're learning. Where's my script? Here we go. We've got files may have an extension. Just hide it on the Windows search. Yeah. I might have to like actually. Oh, well, I appreciate you hanging out, though. I've just renamed the actual files bg_room.jpg. So I'm going to see if that works. No, I appreciate you popping in. This is my first foray into making a visual novel. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see if this works, first of all. Fingers crossed. Still did not work. Okay. Let's get rid of the semicolons, perhaps, because that didn't mention that in the original. Can I just click run and debug, or do I have to click the launch project? I'm wondering if maybe I'm launching it incorrectly. Image name component not found. Control.png. Yeah, it still doesn't like it. What am I doing wrong? Might not have to rename them because the PNG might already be in the profile. I mean, I did try that before. I was thinking maybe it had to be the name itself, but I can try it again. So we've got background_room.jpg, calva_neutral.png. Got quotations. The tutorial didn't specify quotations though, which is odd if the quotations are needed. open the tutorial again. Adding images. Oh, we've got a bot. Okay, got the image directory by clicking the appropriate button in the Ren'Py launcher. Files in the directory should have the same name as the image, followed by extension. Our example is use BG Cave. So so they don't have quotations around theirs. So maybe it doesn't need the quotations. Okay, well, it turned a different color, so maybe that'll help. Is it just a quotation because the error specifically pointed out was having trouble parsing the period, and the adding quotes can make it treated the way you want. It can make wrong assumptions. No, that's okay. That's why we're testing out different things, because that's how we learn. Thank you, Eden. Alright, let's try this again. Ugh. It turned a different color, though. Okay, let me look at this. It looks like their code. Have you tried just using the file name without the extension? I believe I did, yeah. I can try it again, though. Let's try this again. Oh, okay. It's a foot! The image is too big. We got free feet! Okay, the odds of it fucking, like, zooming in on Kalpa's foot was not intentional. That's kind of funny, though. Oh my god. Alright. Oh, it's this kind of dating game. No! No! It's not even a dating game I'm making. Add some story and music. At least it was the foot. Look, hey, this is a very safe for work picture. Why was it so big, though? Does it need to, like... How do I like, resize it? That'll come with time, perhaps. Do I, like, say small afterwards? The game is a foot. It's nothing but a foot. At least the picture worked. Yes. Yes. At least it's something. Maybe the picture was too big. It is quite a large photo. Yeah, it's bigger than my, display that I requested the screen on. So let me see if I can find something smaller real quick. Might be trying to use a character picture as a background. Oh, maybe. Because let me try a different picture. Something smaller. And we'll go from there. If I can pick a smaller one, and we can just do some testing to see what it did, perhaps. Do I have a smaller one? I gotta have some pictures here. Adobe Animate. Make sure the scene is calling your intended background image. Yeah. I think the image was just so big, it got confused, perhaps, with that. I feel like it should be resizing it automatically. I don't think I can use GIFs. All of my pictures that I've made are GIFs. I've got to have something that isn't a GIF somewhere. Surely. Apologies, I know you're just looking at a screen, but I'm looking through pictures here. What if I just resize this one? Oh, I've got a gnome I can use. What size is it? It's 300 by 255. I can use that. We'll use Mr. Gnome. So copy. Paste. Let's name this Gnome Neutral. So then in our script, we'll call it Gnome Neutral. Okay, save. And then let's see what it does. Okay. We have pictures. They're the wrong sizes, but it could be because I picked a specific size. Maybe it has to be really specific. I'm gonna warn you that you should probably make a non-zero profit off a game, off a gnome foot on Steam. No. I'm not gonna make that. I'm making a sci-fi game, not a, it's a furry sci-fi game. But I gotta see if I can actually know how to code first. Okay. So good news is we have pictures. Bad news is they're not sized properly. So let me see if it's the sizing issue. This is 1280 by 720. What is my size set for this project? How do I check that? Options? Hey, thanks for popping in, Flustered. Yeah. If I'm not doing this, I'll probably be doing Stardew Valley. How do I change the size of the project? Preferences? Options, theme, install libraries, return. I forget what size I picked. That's the game. How do I... Let me look at... No, we don't want full screen. There's gotta be a way... One second. I got some text I have to answer. Okay. I chose 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080. So if this image can be resized, 1920 by 1080, it's gonna look like shit, but that's okay. Let's try that. So it's now resized to 1920 by 1080. My little gnome. Gnome is 300 by 255. So let me see if now it shows up properly for the background. Okay, background, that's what we gotta do. We have to make sure that the backgrounds are exactly the size that we need. So there's got to be a particular size for the sprites, perhaps. How do I find out what size that needs to be? Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let me look up sprite sizes in Ren'Py. Ideal size for sprites. See here. Error on this. So Reddit says error on the side of making them larger. They can be scaled down in game, but a smaller image doesn't look as good being scaled up. So how do I scale it inside the game? Struggling with resizing. Okay, so somebody gave some code on how to resize something. Interesting. Okay, let me see here. So photo-wise, let me see if I can resize the gnome. It's going to look bad because it'll be scaled up, but that's okay. Okay, let me look at this code here. So you can set up transforms. Transform size normal. Do we define that at the beginning? Perhaps? Zoom can be put in transform. Okay. We've defined the character as E. Let me resize Calva. Can you open in Paint, please? Because that's going to be the easiest. Open with Paint. Okay, resize. Let's do 600. Okay, it's a tall picture. Let me actually open it in Photoshop. So we can get this background off of it. We can resize it a little bit more exactly. Okay. I don't need the new version right now. Thank you, though. Just a real quick and dirty background removal. Okay, resize. Save real quick. Because I want to save. Okay. Just want to save the original image. So, image size. Pixels. 600. Okay. Quick export. And we are going to save it as this one. Overwrite. Okay. Now, let's see what that did. Oh, I need to actually tell it to use Calva's picture. So, Calva neutral. Calva underscore neutral. Okay, let's see what that did. Okay, we're getting there. It's smaller now. So we've got Calva coming in. Just needs to be a little bit smaller. So let's try 400. Quick export. Save. Yes, alright. Right, now we've got that. Okay, we have a sprite, which is a good size. So, now, I can show at right, show, oh wait, can I, because we didn't define what right was, so how do we define that again? Was it define rightish equals x-align? Does it have to be on the same line? X-align y-align. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it. Okay, so it doesn't like that. Okay, that's alright. Let's open the tutorial again. Positioning. So you can show an image followed by a colon, and then you can indent it, but we don't want to do that every time. lets you define a transform once and reuse it. Okay. Usually transforms are defined at the top of a file. Okay, so we would just put transform then. Okay, so that would be then transform. If I could spell correctly. Transform. Slight left. And we're calling it slight left. And then we would put a colon. And we would do X align that, Y align that. So then we would show slight left. Did that work? Once the transform has been found, you can use it in the at clause. So we would show at. Okay. Show at. Right? No. Show Kava at. So show Eileen at slight left. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, so far so good. Hey! They're on the left. Look at that. We moved them. Now, can we move them to the right? So we've displayed the dialogue. I'm thinking we want to show Kava neutral at. Let's define our transform. Transform. Does it have to be a space, I wonder? Right. Oh. Right. X align 1.0. Y align 1.0. So then at right. Okay. It moved. It moved. We made it move. I'm so excited. It's like so basic, but it's something. I coded that. Alright. Look at me coding and shit. Oh my god. That's so dumb. Okay. So now... one moment. I had a notification on my... Okay. I'm a coder now. I moved a sprite. Hey, we gotta start somewhere, right? You know? Okay, so let's open the tutorial. We have learned how to set our transforms. Now, the question is, can we get rid of transform? Let me copy that. Because I'm curious how smart the game is. If I just say at right, is it gonna know what I mean? Probably not, but you know, I'm curious. Okay. Okay, it's smart. We don't have to define exactly. Or transform exactly. True. Don't have to meet a threshold. I am coding. It's true. I shouldn't Shouldn't put myself down. So the game is smart enough to know what right is. So if we say center, what will it do? Puts them at the center. Okay. That's good. That's good to know. That means we have basic stuff, and that means we don't have to put in the transform. Now, the slight left, which means we know that 0.5 is in the middle of the screen. So if it's slightly left, then we would want to put like 0.3. Let's try that. So Calva should start out slightly left. And they are, indeed, slightly left. Okay. And then they move to the center. Alright. Hell yeah. Let's open up the tutorial and see what else we can do. We figured out the photo issues. Figured out positioning. Figured out sizing. Sizing is important. It has to be the 1200 by 1080 for the background. Exactly. And then I'm guessing sprites will have to kind of mess with that to see. What do I have them at currently? 400 by 1028. Yeah, so like, I'll do some more research on sprite sizes and see what might need be for those. Okay, what do we got next? Let's see. Adding images, positioning images, transitions. It can be jarring for the game to jump from place to place. To help take edge off a change, Ren'Py supports the use of transitions. Let's try that scene change again, but this time we'll use transitions. That's much smoother. Here's example code showing how we include transitions. So we have the scene, which is the background with dissolve, pause 0.5, and then they move to this scene with show and dissolve. Okay. It uses the with statement. The with statement causes the scene to transition from the last thing shown to the things currently being shown. It takes a transition as an argument. In this case, we're using the dissolve transition. This transition takes as an argument the amount of time the dissolve should take. In this case, each transition takes half a second. We can define a short name for transition using the define statement. Here we're defining slow dissolve to be a dissolve that takes a whole second. Okay. Once a transition has been given a short name, we can use it in our game. So then they use slow dissolve both times. Ren'Py defines some transitions for you, like dissolve, fade, and move. For more complex or customized transition, you'll have to define your own. If you're interested, check out Transitions Gallery section of the tutorial. Okay. Let's do that then. Can we have two things open at once? We can. Awesome. Okay. Because I want to keep the tutorial up. Okay. Task projects script is up. Now, let's pick another background. Let me look through my backgrounds that I have. We'll pick another background to transition into. I've got some balloon art that I made. What size is it? 1600 by 1200. And we know it needs to be 1920 by 1080. Okay. Okay, let me open open this in Paint. Oh, sorry, Carbon. Open with Paint. Resize to be 1920 by 1080. 1920 by 1080. Okay, it's a little squash, but we're just doing this for experiment's sake. So let me copy that. Close that. Put that in here. Now, question is background balloons. Okay. Now, script-wise, let's put it here. So scene, background, balloons. Okay, I did spell it correctly. Good, good, good. Now, let me just see what that does before I go anywhere else. Okay. We have a transition. Perfect. So it starts out here. We define the next scene. Alright. Now, let's try the dissolve, which is... So, with dissolve 0.5, with dissolve, oh, can we just put W dissolve, I wonder? Dissolve 0.5. Does it have to be capitalized? We'll find out. Okay, didn't like that, so it might have to be capitalized. Oh, it might have to have the parentheses, actually. Nope, wrong one. Parentheses. Next to it. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay. Cool. So, click dissolve. Click dissolve. Okay. Can we do that with characters too then? I'm assuming. So, like, if we show Kava neutral at slight left with dissolve. Let's do a longer dissolve for that. And let's see if that works. Okay. There was a dissolve. Everything seemed to dissolve in. all at once. Can we stagger the dissolve? So if we show the scene with dissolve 0.5, which should come in faster than Calva. Yes, that works. Okay. So the scene fades in at a slower rate than the character. So scene and then character. Because I've got Calva set at 1.0 and the background set at 0.5. I'm extrapolating information. Alright, now let's define the dissolve. We're defining slow dissolve to be the dissolve that takes a whole second. So, currently, let's get rid of the current dissolves. And then up here, define slow dissolve equals dissolve, and we'll make it 1.5. So then, for the scene, we would do with slow dissolve. And then I will also do with slow dissolve here. Okay, that's quite a long dissolve. Okay. What other... What's fade and move then? Move makes sense to move something. I don't think we want to move the background, but can we move Calva? So let's have Calva at center. No, actually we'll have Calva at left. No, at left. And then there's one that says move. So with move right. Wonder if it has to be move in right, because it keeps wanting to say that. But let's see what this does. Okay, did not like that. So let's try with the in. Move. Does it have to be separate, or does it have to be together? Didn't like that. Okay. Let's check out the transition gallery section of this tutorial. Okay. In-depth transition gallery. Ships with a large number of built-in transitions and also include classes that let you define your own. Let's look at move transitions. Most common move transition is move, which slides around images that have changed position on the screen. Just like that. Show Ren'Py at left with move. There are also the move out and move in transitions. Move out, slide hidden images off the appropriate side of the screen. Move in transition, slide in new images. Let's see them all in action. That's it for move ins and move outs. Finally, there are zoom in and zoom outs. And that's all there is. Okay. So move out. Move out left, move in. So I think it has to be all together. Unless it doesn't like it because Calva is already at the left. Okay. Well, that did something. Can we show Calva, get rid of at left? What does just move in right do? Puts them at the center? Yes, so center's default. And then if we want all the way to the left, zoom zoom. It's very fast. Zoom in and zoom out. How can you control the speed on that? Simple transitions. Fade transition fades to black and then fades back into the new scene. If you're going to stay at a black screen, you'll probably want to use dissolve rather than fade. You can use fade to define by changing the timing and color. Faded 2, you can use this for special effects like flash bulbs. Oh, pixelate's cool. Pixelate transition pixelates out the old scene, switches it to the new scene, and unpixelates it. Probably not appropriate for most games, but we think it's kind of neat. Use pixelate to change the details of the pixelation. Motions can also be used as transitions. Hey, pay attention. I was about to demonstrate V-punch. Well, I guess I just did. You can also shake the screen horizontally with H-punch. These are defined by using the move function. There's also the move transition, which is confusingly enough defined using the move transition function. Move transition finds images that have changed placement and slides them to their new place. It's an easy way to get motion in your game. Okay. So show Irene happy at right with move. Okay. Play audio. With H punch. Okay. So if I show Calva at left with just move. And then show Calva neutral at center with move. What does that do? Didn't seem to do anything. Okay. With move. Finds images that have changed placement and slides them to their new place. See. If we show Calva at left, what happens if I do it all together like that? I should show them okay, doesn't seem to be doing that. Okay. At left. At right with move. Finds images that have changed placement and slides them to their new place. Let me try then. Right with move. Ugh. Why is it doing it twice? With move. Just seem to be staying at the center. But I'm not sure why. What does this do? Okay, we're at the right. At the center. Okay. Motions, pixelate. Fade. Shake the screen. There's also the move transition, which is confusingly enough defined using move transition function. Do I need to put a define in? Because it just does show like that. With move. At right. maybe... It's the same photo. Why isn't the move working for me? Show Calva. Center. With move. It should work, but I don't know why it's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay. Maybe I was just missing it or something. Okay, cool. That's working then. Now. Let's look at one more thing. Music and sound effects. Another important part is soundtrack. Ren'Py breaks sound up into channels. The channel a sound is placed on determines if the sound loops and if it is saved and restored with the game. When a sound is played on the music channel, it is looped and it is saved when the game is saved. When the channel named sound is used, when the channel named sound used, the sound is played once and then stopped. It isn't saved. The sounds themselves are stored in audio files. Ren'Py supports Opus, Orbis, and MP3. Let's check out some of the commands that can affect the music channel. Play music command replaces the currently playing music and replaces it with the named file name. If you specify the currently playing song, it will restart it. If the optional fade out clause is given, it will fade out the currently playing music before starting the new music. The cue statement also adds music to the named channel, but it waits until the current song is finished before playing. Third is stop statement. It stops the music playing on a channel. It too takes fade out clause. Unlike music, playing sound causes it only to play once. You can queue up multiple sounds. Has separate mixers for sound, music, and voices. Okay, let's give that a shot. Alright. In terms of sound, let me look and see what I've got. I don't think I have short sounds, but I do have music. Let's not use a 41-minute music. I've got some Kit Bogus songs. Don't have much music saved on the computer, admittedly. Let me grab my music real quick. Drive. Voyager music. We have... Let's download that. MIDIs. Nope. Can't hear that playing. Okay. Okay. Let's download that one. Downloads. Copy. Actually, no, just cut that and put it into okay, we've got music, wrong one. Let's open up audio. Paste in Lon Ranch concept. And then sound is played. Supports MP3. What is this? This is a wave. Does it support wave? Probably not. Okay. Let's convert it to an MP3. Convert wave to MP3. One moment. Convert. Download. Thank you. We got an MP3. Okay, let's give this a shot. Let's get rid of this one. Go over to downloads. Cut. Back up. Paste. Modern rich copies. Okay. Commands. Play music. Let's... Do we... How do we put it on the menu? Because if the game starts there, maybe that's different. I'm not sure. Play music with a space. Play music. Quotations. And then we will put Lon Ranch concept. Save. Launch. Start. Don't hear anything. Oh, probably because my preferences has the music down? No, it does not. Okay. It's okay. Let's see what we might be missing. Places it with the name file. Does it oh, it probably has to have the dot after it. Dot MP3. Fade in. Okay. Did not like that. Okay. If you specify the song, fade out before using current music. Key statement also adds music. Stop music. Stop music. Fade. Fade out. Can we do fade in 1? Or does it not like that also? Not getting anything. Does work. Yeah, it should start right away. Okay. Thinking. Lon ranch concept. Fade in 1. Play music. Do we have to have a different command? Play music with quotation marks. Maybe I didn't put it. Maybe I have to put it after background shows up. Save. No. Still does not want to play it. Is it my volume mixer? No. Nothing's playing on there. So why won't you work, I wonder? .m3. Just try a bunch of different stuff here. There we go. Okay, so we need to have the .mp3 with the fade out 1, or fade in 1. Then it should fade out. Yeah. Okay, cool. We got music, which also means I would love to have voice acting, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, I think that is where I'm going to end with the tutorial stuff today. I'll want to keep messing around with this just to kind of like get that under my belt and make sure I kind of know what I'm doing with that before I move on to other things. Let's see, go main menu. Yeah. And then the rest of it I will look at later. Choices in Python, input and interpolation, video playback, NVL mode, which I think is novel something mode, tools and interactive director, and building the distributions, which is a long way away. Text tags, escapes, and interpolation, character objects, simple displayables. I'll also be interested in the GUI confirmation. Just see what that looks like real quick. Default is meant to be nice enough for a simple project. Also meant to be easy for a media creator to customize. Same time, even with customized default GUI might be too recognizable for an extremely polished game. That's why we made it easy to totally replace. I definitely want to do that. If you want to learn more, visit the GUI customization. Okay. Options, game and main menu background images. So that is found on Open Directory, GUI. Okay, these are the icons. So if we can all customize these in general then, which is cool. So we can definitely have like kind of a theme going on if need be. Let me just try messing with one. Let's mess with the text box. Photoshop. Close. Nope. So if we just do something really simple. Like red, please. Test. Then, what is that currently? That is a PNG. Export. Quick export. Replace. And then we should be able to open that up. And we've got it. Okay, cool. That's super easy. That means we can really, like, do some really cool customizations on the menu and stuff. Let me revert that back. No, I don't want to save. I want to revert back and export and overwrite. That's kind of exciting. So we don't have to make it look the same. Okay. I'm going to end for now. Might be back with Stardew in a little bit. So see you guys later on. Thanks for hanging out.